I'm here with our celebrity judges for our Team Spirit Day. Beside me is Martha Allred and Kay Abrams, and they're here judging our tailgating snacks. Now, ladies, what qualifies you for such a prestigious task?
Well, I am a master tailgater for Auburn football.
Okay.
And I like to snack.
So they're here, and they've got the difficult task to try to decide who's number one. We're here at the football throw tournament with Tony Martin. He is the official for this game. And Tony, how's it going out here?
Great. I tell you what, it's see some good prospects here, but sad thing is the women are throwing better than the men.
So some of them are ready for the NFL, maybe?
Oh, we'll have to get them a women's football league. We'll find a league for them.
And you're a retired coach, aren't you?
I'm a retired coach, 40 years.
Wow. All right. Well, they're having a great time here at the football throw tournament. This is Eleanor Russell, and she's a fan of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Why do you love your team?
Well, I was raised there, I'm from there, and my children still live there.
All right.
I just love Ohio State.
All right. This is Hattie Bray, and she's a Georgia Bulldog fan.
Right.
Why do you love the Georgia Bulldogs?
I was raised and born in Georgia, and they are tough.
I'm here with Lamar Costley, and he's one of the judges for our cornhole tournament. And he's also a fan of a certain team. Who's your
Tide, Roll Tide.
Why do you love the Alabama Crimson Tide?
Because I love a winner.
This is Jackie Dukes, and she is an Atlanta Braves fan. Why do you love the Atlanta Braves?
I love them because they win a lot, and Chipper Jones was my favorite, and he was on there.
Go Braves!
Go Braves! Go Braves!
This is Sophia Cameron, and she is a University of Georgia Bulldogs fan. Why do you love the Dogs?
Because I was born in Georgia.
Go Bulldogs!
Yes, go Bulldog. Yay!
Harold Ross is a die-hard Braves fan, and it's been a rough season for you, but why do you love the Atlanta Braves?
I love the Atlanta Braves because every so often they'll thrill me with something exciting. Every so often.
I know they've had a rough series lately, but go Braves, right?
Absolutely, go Braves. They're a lot of fun. Everybody needs a team to pull for, and that's our team.
All right.
And we appreciate them.
This is Mamie Cameron on my right and Montine Mitchell on my left, and they're both Atlanta Braves fans. Mamie, why do you love the Braves?
Love the Braves because they're doing nothing right now. Still love them.
Okay. How about you, Montine? What about those Bravos?
I love the Braves because they're my favorite. I watch them, good or bad. I still love them. Go Braves.
All right, let's go with me. Ready? This is Janet Corley, and she's a University of Georgia Bulldogs fan. Janet, why do you like the Bulldogs?
Oh, I love them because I have to support my home state. I think everybody ought to support the state they live in.
All right. This is Karen, our assistant nutrition supervisor, and she's also a Bulldog fan.
Yes.
Why do you love the Bulldogs?
Because I love red and black.
Oh. So you're trying to make a fashion statement?
I am.
All right, I see you got a little poofy thing there. All right. Oh, in the back too.
Yes.
All right, well, go Bulldogs.
Well, I actually have a divided house. We have half Alabama and half Georgia. But we do live right on the line, so it kind of fits.
All right, that works. Okay, I'm back here with Martha and Kay, and they've just judged the contest, and so I want to get the inside scoop. What did you decide on, ladies?
Oh my Lord, it was good.
Okay, and can you tell me who won?
Food.
Food won the contest? Okay, but can you describe the winning recipe?
I tried every bit of it.
And
it was all good. It was good.
So there's no way that you're going to let me know who won?
You're going to have to try it for yourself.
Try it for yourself.
Okay. All right. Well, we should find out shortly who won. Well, today we're excited about the fact that the Troop High cheerleaders are going to come cheer, but beside me is one of the original Troop High cheerleaders back in 1955, somewhere around there.
55, 56.
This is Teresa Matheny, and tell us a little bit about being a cheerleader back then.
Well, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun going to ball games and cheering and turning flips and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Can you do a flip for us right now?
Are you joking? I can barely walk
we
now.
won't make you do that, but that's so exciting that you're one of the originals of the Troop High cheerleaders.
It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
We're the Troop High cheerleaders, and we'll be back with more Active Life.
What an amazing day we had at Team Spirit Day at the Active Life, and we are back in the studio to talk about the wonderful events we have. We have two physical therapists that we're going to talk about the importance of activity. We have Michelle Williams, and she's Director of Rehab Services at West Georgia Health, and beside her is Laura Smith, Manager of Outpatient Rehabilitation and Wellness. Thank you, ladies, for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
How important is we looked at all the activities that took place on Team Spirit Day, the football toss, the scavenger hunt, the cornhole, the cheerleading and movement. How important is it for older adults to have activity in their life? Michelle?
I think being active is very important, not only physically but emotionally, psychologically. As you can see what went on that day, that was such a fun day. It looked like for the people that come to Active Life, and the things that they did there, it was fun, but it also was good for their body. You could see that they moved arms and legs in ways that people sitting at home probably don't do on a daily basis. They take their joints to end range and got up and got their heart rate going, and things like that just keep you healthy, keep you moving, keep you more active.
That's great. But the other side of that is, what is the danger of somebody who is not regularly remaining active?
Well, the old saying of if you don't use it, you lose it is unfortunately true. It's actually a little more true as we get older. That tends to happen, that decline tends to happen quicker. So it is critically important to maintain strength, to work on things like balance, because balance can decline as you get older. And also another item that we see a lot as physical therapists is the lack of flexibility. And flexibility really has a direct correlation with your balance and ability to recover if you're starting to have a fall. So those three things are really vitally important.
Wow, that's great. Well, we saw a lot of laughter going on, a lot of team spirit. How important is it, Michelle, for people to gather together in groups to their physical activity? The people that gather together in groups tend to be more active than those that spend a lot of time alone?
We typically see that. We see that people that are active with friends, as in the aging population, they are typically more active. There are less issues as far as mobility, pain, lack of movement in particular joints. And if they spend time around people, just like you saw them playing games and talking and having fun, cheering their friends on, that encourages joint movement, and they don't even think about it. That encourages strength and flexibility, and they're not even having to think about it because they're with friends, they're having fun.
Wow.
And that really just encourages activity.
Something else I would add to that is in a group environment, if you're involved in one of the yoga classes that you have there at the senior center, or any of the exercise classes, they're typically going in a kind of stepwise fashion of looking at all of the joints. So they might start with the neck and then move to the shoulders and then move to the spine. And that's really critical because if you're by yourself and you're exercising, you might be walking, but you're just working on one part of the body. And it's really, your joints have a full range of motion, and if we're not moving those joints through that full range of motion in a consistent way, then that motion lessens, and then you don't have that motion. So.
Well, during Team Spirit Day, we had the Troop High School cheerleaders come by, and they got us yelling and moving around. Is there a benefit to like going to a football game and you really scream out for your team? Is there any physical benefits to that type of activity?
Absolutely. It works your core, works your abdominal muscles. It also expands your lungs when we breathe in just our daily activity, or especially if we're sitting down. We're just using a small portion of our lungs, but if we're yelling, we have to take a full deep breath and really use the full capacity, which helps a lot in terms of prevention of development of pneumonia and things like that, especially when somebody gets sick.
Well, that's nice to know because there were a lot of yelling and screaming and fun going on, and so that's kind of replicated what a typical game atmosphere would be like. Michelle, if somebody happens to find themselves confined to their home, and we have seniors confined for various reasons, maybe they don't have transportation, maybe they're a caregiver for somebody, how can an older adult stay physically fit if they have to spend most of their life confined to their house?
I think that's a more common occurrence than we realize, and that's where we see the greatest decline when we see people in the hospital and in rehab setting in the nursing homes. And the one thing that I would encourage them is to remain active and to not sit more than an hour at a time. If you catch yourself, whether you're a TV watcher or knitting or reading, it's easy kind of just to get there and stay. And I would just encourage them to get up and move frequently, at least every hour that they're awake. They need to get up and move around. In addition to that, to kind of keep the muscles pumping and the heart working, heart and lungs getting a good workout, once a day, walk until they're physically tired. Whether it be 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, get up and walk. If you can get outside in your yard, it's great to go outside and walk, but walk until you know that you've done something. And for some that may be a walk down the hall, but for others that may be 15 minutes of exercise, and that's what we encourage. And if they do that, I think they will see that each day, each week, that tolerance or that length of time that they can be active will increase.
Wow. Now, I know each circumstance is different. Do they need to check with their doctors before they jumped into a type of maybe a videotape exercise on television and all?
Absolutely. If they have any medical conditions, any not feeling well, but they definitely, most of them are seeing the physician at least every 6 months. And I would just make sure you discuss with your physician. Is there anything they should be concerned with? Should they watch for any signs of true issues and get that clearance from their physician?
Wow. So Laura, if they do get clearance from their physician, are there some specific exercises other than walking that they can do standing or sitting that you would recommend? Again, if they've checked with the physician and it's fine, that would be some good examples of regular exercise or range of motion.
Right. In addition to the walking, if, like we talked about just a second ago, each joint has a full range of motion. So your neck, should rotate fully to the side. Your shoulder has a range of motion going, all the way up into flexion. And so if they just went joint by joint, moving to their tolerance and to that end of their range. And for some, that restriction is going to be sooner than for others, especially if they have had joint replacements, such as a knee replacement. But moving to that end range of all of the joints is a normal process that we do all the time when we're younger, and as we get older, we tend to not do that so much. So that's really important. I would say from a balance standpoint, for those individuals that are able to stand up, and safety, we teach this all the time in our clinic. Safety is always first. So if in doubt, don't do it, or find somebody, they might need a physical therapy eval at that point. But if they're able to stand up at a counter and practice standing on one leg, and just to maintain that balance. See, we have people sometimes that will start out at 5 seconds and they'll continue to work up until they can get to 15 or 20 or even 30 seconds. So I'd say the balance and walking and joint range of motion are all important.
Michelle, tell us about the importance of stretching before and after any type of exercise. And Laura, you were talking about listening to your body. How important is that with preparing for exercise and then finishing up exercise? A warm up, cool down process.
My approach to stretching is that you want to have a little bit of a warm up, whether it be walking, whether if you're confined to a chair, just an arm, gentle, not full range movements, just to get things warmed up. I kind of fashion it to stretching before you do anything is like stretching a piece of cold taffy. And you want to get that blood pumping in that muscle before you try to stretch and lengthen it, because it's going to have the ability to elongate or get longer. Whereas if you go and just move right into stretching, it doesn't have that warmth in there to stretch. So my thing is to do a short warm up, then stretch, as Laura mentioned, getting to end range, do whatever activity you're going to do, and then finish with a stretch.
Okay.
And that way you've getting the full benefit of it without taking the chance of injuring your muscles.
Oh, that's excellent. Laura, is there a danger if somebody jumps in too quickly into exercise that they will get excessively sore and may become discouraged? Well, how would you recommend that an older adult that hasn't been in a regular routine and they've checked with the doctor and the doctor says go for it, to help prevent some of that excessive soreness?
Well, there may be quite a few individuals that aren't comfortable kind of doing it on their own or getting started on their own. So I would recommend one of your classes, really going to the senior center and joining in with that group, because there is going to be that monitoring. If they have had a decline in function where they're trying to get back to their normal function, or if they're having some significant medical issues, that's where our role is. And if they needed an evaluation and some therapy for a certain period of time so that they can learn what they need to do. Okay. That would be the biggest thing is making sure they're confident themselves before they're trying to do things on their own. But back to your point about soreness, is a little bit of soreness is normal, but that's where having a professional or having a group environment that's monitoring the type of activity is so important, because if you're not going to make a lot of gains unless you are pushing your body. But you have to know how far to push your body so that you're getting a positive response and not causing any damage. Okay. So that's a critical.
Very good, very good. We talked about walking before. That 10,000 step or having a pedometer on, Michelle, is that recommended? Does that help people be more conscious of how many steps they're taking a day? And have you seen a benefit to that?
As far as people our age and people at the hospital, often, the people are wearing these pedometers, and it just gives you a look into exactly what you did. Because at the end of the day, you may feel really tired and you look at your steps and you only took 2,000 steps that day. So I think it just gives an accountability to whether it be young adults or senior adults. It kind of lets you know, well, I really didn't do very much today, or yeah, I had a great day. Because sometimes how we feel is not a direct indicator of what level of activity we had that day. So I think that's a great check mark for someone to have. Yeah. Something to really keep up with truly what you've done that day.
That's good. We saw some of the activities they participated in. scavenger hunt where they're walking the nature trail, picking things up, and the football toss and the cornhole. In seeing those, what are some benefits from those type of fun tournaments and games they can do from a physical therapist point of view, Laura, that you would see that they're doing and extending their body?
Well, one of the things, since it was outside and they were doing the scavenger hunt, walking on uneven surfaces for balance. You know, if you already have balance issues, then that's not where you want to start. But for somebody that has pretty good balance, that's a great way to maintain your balance, because your muscles have to respond to that uneven surface. So that, and in addition to the range of motion, you know, when you're tossing, you're really taking your joints through range of motion that you wouldn't do in your normal daily activities. And the cheering and the yelling and all of that is so great for the lungs and for the spirit. So it's all great activities to be a part of.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate your feedback and your insight into that. We want to get the older adults of Troup County out there and active, because we really believe they'll stay independent longer, they will live longer if they do that. And thank you for your wisdom in that area for our community. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it. And thank you all for joining us. We had a wonderful time at Team Spirit Day as we tailgated and we cheered for our teams, and we had a huge number of people. I know some of you are out there and you're alone, and you could use friendships, and the Active Life is a great place to come by and meet new people and get active and get healthy and have a fun time while you're doing it. So sometimes you don't even realize the benefits of just getting out there and being with people. So I invite you to come by. I'd love to give you a tour. And one final thing, I would like to challenge you out there: protect yourself from con artists. One of the most common cons going on in our community is sweepstake winners. You receive a lot of information in the mail or by email saying that you've won a sweepstakes, and people end up losing thousands of dollars to these cons. Protect yourself. It's not true. Come to me or go to the police department or sheriff's office, and they will help you understand that it is just a con. I hope you have a wonderful week. Thanks for joining us.